It's been quiet this whole time. Literally, as soon as I set up my camera to start recording this review, my neighbors are blasting music. I don't know if it's coming through on the microphone. Hopefully it's not, because then next thing you know, this video gets flagged for copyright because you hear, okay, what's up, shut up, I hope they turn it off. 3 hours later, the music has stopped. Welcome to my safe haven, or actually I should have pointed to my shirt. Welcome to my safe haven, guys. Thank you again for joining me for another review on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. And today we are here talking about the latest animated film coming out of Netflix. It is from Sony Pictures Animation Studios, I believe. And this movie is called The Mitchells vs. the Machines. I actually never knew about this movie coming out, and it completely went under the radar. The way I found out about this movie to watch it and review it is I actually saw it on TikTok, a channel that I follow called Straw Hat Goofy, and so I saw him talk about it, so I was like, all right, I'll check it out. But before we get into all of that, let me first say, can you please, if you're watching this video, if you could do me a favor and you want to support your boy, hit that thumbs up button. I noticed that I'll get like 400 views or whatever on a video and like 20 people will hit the thumbs up button. So again, I can't stress this enough, if you really want to help your boy out and help this channel out and help it grow and everything like that, if you can hit the thumbs up button on every single video, I can't stress enough how much it does help with the YouTube algorithm and getting the videos and things like that out there. But if you haven't watched Mitchells vs. the Machine, or you haven't heard of it or anything like that, the synopsis for the movie is: young Katie Mitchell embarks on a road trip with her proud parents, younger brother, and beloved dog to start her first year at film school. But their plans to bond as a family soon get interrupted when the world's electronic devices come to life to stage an uprising. With help from two friendly robots, the Mitchells must now come together to save one another and the planet from the new technological revolution. Ooh. And this movie was directed by Mike Rianda, who's making his directorial debut with this movie, so congratulations to him. It was also written by Rianda and also Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who also wrote Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street. I think they also directed 21 Jump Street too, and they also did the sequel, 22 Jump Street. Never seen either one of those, but I heard they're pretty good. And they also did the first two Lego movies, and I really surprisingly enjoyed the Lego movies. So even though this is a first-time director with Phil Lord and Chris Miller at the helm for the writing, is this another movie that they can add that struck gold that they were behind? I would say most definitely. I really enjoyed Mitchells vs. the Machine, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. So much so that being that this movie is from Sony Animation Pictures, I was like, if Sony really wants to get ahead of the game, they could really build their brand and name on these animated properties. Like, you think about what Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did for Sony, which I think was the best Spider-Man movie of all time, including the live-action movies. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the best. And then you get this movie, which was very good. They also did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which I didn't see that movie, but it was good enough to garner a sequel. They did the Hotel Transylvania movies, which I enjoyed those movies. Like, why can't Sony be another animation giant out there? It doesn't just have to be Disney and Pixar. Like, I even think about one of my favorite animated properties that wasn't from Disney, which was The Page Master. A lot of people sleep on The Page Master, and I really love that movie. But yeah, I'm just like, just hire Phil Lord and Chris Miller to run their animation division, because I think you really have something here with their animated properties. Like, I cannot wait for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Part 2. But yeah, but I really enjoyed the vocal cast in this movie. Like, you had a lot of like Comedy Central comedians that I'm not that familiar with, but you also had like people like Conan O'Brien, Jay Farrow, Sashir Zamita, Maya Rudolph, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen. You also had Fred Armisen, and then also, which something I didn't realize, you also have the director who voiced the little brother. And so in this movie, you have our main lead, Katie Mitchell, voiced by Abby Jacobson. She is an aspiring film student, so because of that, she's always looking into her camera. She's always looking through the world through technology, and she always has interest, and you know, with film students and things like that, she's always making these weird films with her brother, Dinosaur. She has this ongoing series that she places on YouTube called Dog dog cop, which she takes her dog. And I love this dog, by the way. I can't think of the name of the dog. But like she takes her dog, dresses him up like a cop, and makes an entire series about it. But then you have her father, who's more of an outdoors, woodsy type of character. He doesn't really know anything about technology. He doesn't know anything. He's like one of the stereotypical boomers. He barely knows how to turn a computer on. And so there are moments that he clashes with his daughter because she's interested in film. He doesn't really understand it. And for me, that kind of hit home because I mean, I get that whole mentality. Like when I went to school for theater, I had people in my corner, not so much my mother or my father, but like I had people wondering like, why am I wasting my life? Why am I wasting time wanting to go to school for theater? Like it's a waste. And so like when that whole dynamic was happening in the movie, like I completely got that. And I still kind of get that somewhat to this day. Like they were like, oh, what did you go to school for? And I'm like, theater. They're like, oh. And it's like, no, I'm glad. I love the fact that I went to school for theater. Like hell, my whole theater training, I probably wouldn't even be as comfortable making YouTube videos without that theater training. Granted, it's different than being on camera than in front of a live audience, but I still have no problem putting it on, so to speak. Or like, honestly, I feel like I do great in face-to-face interviews when I go to like jobs or anything like that because of my theater training. I may fumble over my words here and there because, you know, as an actor, you're reading from a script, and right now there is no script as I'm talking to the camera. I'm just talking straight to the camera from the dome. And so because of that, I may fumble over my words or even in the interview, but still, like, it was my theater training that prepared me for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now. And who knows where this channel and my career will end up going in the next year, 5 years, 10 years. But it won't go anywhere if you don't hit that like button. So please do me a favor and hit that like button. But I related to all of that. And I love that they went into that dynamic into this movie. And then also the thing I love about this movie, even though it's called The Mitchells versus the Machines, I love that you got to spend a lot of time getting to know this family and their interpersonal relationships before they got into the giant apocalyptic machines versus the world, Scott Pilgrim versus the world, the machines versus the world aspect of the movie. And also another thing that I loved about this movie, like this movie was definitely like a comedy, and they really like, they don't take themselves fully seriously. Like they play with the animation style every so often. And I love those little nuances that they will put into the movie where one moment, and it kind of reminded me of anime in certain aspects, how well, you'll have anime, they have one style, but then a character will do something or embarrass another character, and then they'll change the animation style to showcase that. They did that same thing here, and I loved that. I thought it looked beautiful. Like overall, I thought the entire animation and animation style for this movie just looked incredible. But then part of me is like, also on the flip side, watching this movie, even though it's a comedy, you know, it's meant for children, it's not meant to be taken seriously, you're supposed to have fun watching this movie. Me, as I'm watching it, I'm like, because this is about the robot apocalypse, robots taking over and trying to destroy humanity and things like that. I was like, so yeah, this is definitely happening, and this is based on a true story, right? Like, I could totally see this happening in real life. Like, and part of me keeps wondering, like, why do we keep trying to increase AI and improve AI technology only for the robots to take over the world? Like it's been like we've seen it in every single movie since like the dawn of movies, the dawn of sci-fi, and yet we're continuing to make robots stronger and faster and smarter. Why? Especially since, because I always have to go here because it's me, but especially since a lot of these robots and algorithms and things like that are made by white men, straight white men at that, and they tend to be racist. I mean, even just think about some of the algorithms for the AI of like, you know, like soap dispensers and trying to like, they can't read dark-skinned hands or whatever, so the soap doesn't come out. Or there was a problem with like self-driving cars. They weren't programmed properly to be able to see darker skin at night, and so it was causing accidents when these self-driving cars were hitting darker skinned black people or darker skinned brown people, or video cameras that can't pick up darker facial features, and I could go on and on and on. So I'm just like, and I think about this sometimes, but I'm like, not only is the robot apocalypse definitely coming, but then black people already got to deal with racist white people, but then we're going to deal with the robot apocalypse, racist white people, and racist robot robots that weren't built with proper algorithms to even recognize us. I mean, hell, just look at all the stuff black content creators are going through with TikTok. But that's a whole nother topic. Let's go back to the movie. But it all correlates. This is where my mind goes when I watch certain movies. And then you get to the villain of this movie. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything. This is a non-spoiler review. But even the villain of the movie, I was like, well, yeah, you can't really blame him. Humans are trash. And every time they focus on the there wasn't a character that I did not enjoy in this movie. The character I liked the least was the brother, but even that isn't really saying anything because I enjoyed the character of the brother. Like every single character that they introduced was fun. There are these two next door neighbor characters played and voiced by John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, and they're supposed to be like the idealized couple that the wife, Linda Mitchell, voiced by Maya Rudolph, she looks up to them, she idolizes them, and she really wants them to notice her. And even those two characters are fun. Like some of the stuff that they had them doing, I was like, there's got to be a catch to this, right? They're probably not as perfect as they seem to be. But then you watch the movie, it's like, no, they're actually completely perfect. And I just thought it was funny. But yeah, like I said, this movie surprised me. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. And based on the way it ended, it doesn't really lend itself for a sequel. But if they decide to bring these characters in this world back, I would be here for it. I would love to see this character, or I would love to see these characters in this world return. And also one thing I really enjoyed that's also a positive and a criticism is the main character of Katie Mitchell. The character is revealed to be a lesbian. It's not a reveal because they make it obvious from the very beginning of the movie. Like she's wearing a rainbow pin. She's pining over a girl that she's supposed to meet in film school. But the only thing gets to my criticism, they don't actually name drop, or they still don't. They don't even drop the fact that she's a lesbian until the very end of the movie. And that's the thing that I'm like it reminds me of that movie Paranorman, where you had the lead guy. It turns out, you know, he was a stereotypical jock, but it wasn't until you get to the very end of the movie that he talks about his boyfriend and he talks about the fact that he's even gay. And I mean, I don't like that, because it's like, yes, on the one hand, it's positive for the representation that you're like, oh, you have this entire animated franchise with a gay lead, but then you don't really advertise that she's gay until the movie's basically over. So it's like representation on paper only without actual representation. Now I get it for the sake of the story and the movie. I'm trying to figure out where you would actually fit that she's a lesbian, but you're writing the movie, you're creating the movie, you can make it fit. So that's really the only nitpicky criticism that I have. It's not a huge like, oh, I hated the movie because of that. It's just like, come on, do better. But other than that, I freaking really enjoyed this movie. I would definitely give Mitchell's vs. the Machine, I would say it is a blockbuster. So if you haven't seen it, I would recommend checking it out. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, granted, everything's subjective, but I'm pretty sure, and I at least hope that you'll love it too. But again, like I said, everything is subjective, so maybe you saw it and it wasn't for you, but the question is, have you seen The Mitchells vs. the Machine? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you can, again, please hit that thumbs up button and like this video. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm and things like that. And if this is one of your first times checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell ding notification so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.